Hello, welcome to Kathaayaana. This is Trotting, a series where I take you to different countries around the world and share stories from those lands. The country that I choose will be in alphabetic order A to Z. The story that I'm going to share with you today is coming from a country beginning with the letter H, and that is Honduras. Honduras is a country in Central America, also called the Latin America. And the story that I'm going to share with you today is about a person, about a leader, about a visionary who impacted, who improved the lives of thousands and thousands of poor farmers in Honduras. He is Don Elias Sanchez. Don Elias Sanchez was born in the Choluteca department of Honduras on November 18, 1927. Since his childhood, since he was a boy, he had developed a love, a very strong love for the land and the harvest it yields within the family. Sanchez grew up and then began his career as an educator. And in 1974, he joined the Ministry of Natural Resources in Honduras to direct the training of agricultural promotion agents. Now, before I take this story forward, I just wanted to give you a tidbit. Honduras, as we know, is a country in Latin America, and just like any other Latin American country, Honduras too was invaded by the Spanish in 16th century. And when the Spanish invaded, what did they do? They grabbed all the prime bottom lands that were surrounding there in and around and pushed away the locals to hills, to mountains. Now, Honduras, just like any other Latin American country, is surrounded by many mountains. It has valleys, it has low bottom lands, it has level lands, also many mountains. Now, these locals were shooed away. They were asked to fend for themselves on the hillside mountains. And ever since, hillside farming in Latin America as well as in Honduras in particular is equal to poverty. But Honduras, like all other countries which were ruled by some other country, got its independence in the 19th century. And Honduran government came up with the Green Revolution scheme, the Green Revolution policy. But unfortunately, this Green Revolution did not do anything to improve the lives of the hillside farmers. It totally ignored about them. It totally ignored their harsh realities. Instead, it was favoring a lot on the industrialized agriculture in the valleys. They were helping the farmers who were doing farms in the farmlands and agriculture in the valleys. But the hillside farmers, they were totally ignored. Now, Sanchez was slightly upset with this, but he did not give up. He tried to introduce these agricultural officials to all the alternate agriculture that was happening on the hillside farming. He tried to make them aware of their reality, their grievances. He even took some of the employees there to the fields, made them work with the poor farmers in their community so that they understand what are the alternate agriculture that these farmers are doing. How could they be promoted? How could they be helped and motivated to continue and increase their harvest? But unfortunately, this did not stick with the employees. They didn't really want to understand. And so a frustrated Sanchez in 1980 resigned his job. He quit his job to help these poor farmers, to help them improve their lives, improve their agriculture. And so he turned himself into a farmer. And where did he do that? Back in 1964, Sanchez and his wife had bought a small hillside farm in the outskirts of Tegucigalpa, the capital city of Honduras. They shifted there and began farming to become a farmer and also to supplement their income. Sanchez named his small hillside farm the Llama Linda, meaning the beautiful hill. Beautiful hill that it was, he made it even more beautiful by sculpting terraces that swooped and curved along the contours of the land. And some of these terraces were supported by stacks and stacks of used tires. And some of these tires were also buried deep inside the slopes so that the terraces are supported along with the land. Now, with all the terraces ready, the stacks of tires ready to support the terraces, Loma Linda was now flourishing. It was bountiful with harvests of fruits, vegetables, and various types of grains and pulses. And also, these used tires were not simply there. They served as planters where beautiful herbs and flowers grew. And true to its name, this hillside farm was a Loma Linda, a beautiful hill. Now, the significance of using these used tires was that these tires were freely available anywhere in Honduras. A farmer could find a used tire that was discarded near a gas station or anywhere on the side of a road. Now, whatever Sanchez did contained a lesson. And here the lesson was that you need not have money to improve your farm. What you really need is imagination, creativity, and hard work. Now, Sanchez very well knew that the farmers in Honduras were really hardworking, but no one had sparked their imagination. And that is when Sanchez sought to improve agriculture in Honduras, starting with people and not farms. He strongly believed in one thing, and that was if a farmer's innate creativity and motivation is cultivated, then automatically it will transform the farmers' lives, their farms, and their communities. And thus he began his school called the Human Farm to cultivate the farmer's inner creativity, imagination, and motivation. And that Human Farm School was nowhere else but at Loma Linda itself. Loma Linda served as a model farm where it was the center for teaching and learning, where he called the farmers in and around to come and learn from him the different techniques of agriculture that he knows, and also urging the farmers to teach him and share with each other their techniques of agriculture, their experiences. And whenever he started talking with these farmers at Loma Linda, at the Center for Teaching and Learning, the first thing that he would always tell them was this: Dear amigos, the techniques, the different industrial techniques and the different technology packages that you use in agriculture, that is alone not enough to improve your agriculture. What is really important is human transformation, which is a deep and difficult process. And so a farmer has to be not just a farmer, but also a teacher, where he teaches and shares about his knowledge to others, and also a student willing to learn different things from other farmers. Sanchez was an exceptional educator. He would blend imagination, creativity, deep knowledge of agriculture, and he was a genius of provoking questions from even the most tongue-tied farmer to craft an alternate agriculture tailored to their needs. And the point of training at Loma Linda was this: to train the farmer to think, to be creative, to have a positive attitude towards life and towards his farm. Without these personal growth, he would say that no matter what technology you learn, how much technology you learn, it will be easily forgotten and it could be discarded at any other obstacle that you face. At Loma Linda, Sanchez also taught the farmers to develop a deep connection, deep love for the soil, for the land that they were cultivating, and have respect for their profession. Here, Sanchez would teach even the complex concepts of agronomy, biology, and even physics to these farmers using examples from everyday life. He would say this: Dear amigos, look at your land just like you. Just like a human being has a body, a visible part, your land, our lands too have a visible part, and that is the soil. Soil, the clay, the silt, and the other organic matter that you can see with your eyes. And just like us human beings have soul, your land, our lands also have a soul. And that soul is in the form of microorganisms, nutrients, and other elements. And so, just like we human beings need water, food, air, shelter, rest, and care to thrive and survive, our lands too require water at the right time in right intervals with the right amount, food in the form of manure, compost, organic compost, some stubbles, shelter in the form of trees to give the land enough shade, and also rest and care. How do you rest? How do you give rest and care to your lands? Well, it is not to stop cultivating, but after you have harvested everything, during the fallow season, that is when you have tilled the land but you're not sowing anything, that time you avoid the routine. Don't seed or don't plant the same crops that you did earlier. Instead, do crop rotation, meaning plant green plants or nitrogen fixing plants that will increase the soil fertility and also replenish the soil nutrients. This way, the soil will be healthy, soil will be productive, and give you good yield in the next season. And this will also help in soil conservation and help in reducing soil erosion too. Now, Sanchez knew that his approach that he was teaching here at Loma Linda, had to spread throughout Honduras. And he also knew that not all poor farmers did farming on the hillside. There were farmers in the valleys, there were farmers along the coastal areas, the lowlands, and also Honduras is a country with microclimates and the conditions vary greatly from region to region. And so he envisioned model farms, different types of model farms dispersed throughout Honduras that emphasized on local conditions but worked with just one philosophy. And that philosophy was to prepare the human farm, to prepare the farmers to work with their minds, with their hearts, and with their hands. He would say that if a farmer's mind is a desert, his farm will also look like a desert. And yes, the people of Honduras were about to transform their country into a desert, because from a long time the Honduran farmers used to practice a technique called the slash and burn method of agriculture, where they would cut down the trees, cut down the forest, burn it up to clear the land to do farming. But this was not helping because it was exhausting the land, it was causing soil erosion, it was causing soil infertility and reduction in harvest as well. So Sanchez over the next decades helped 30,000 farmers shift from the slash and burn method of agriculture to a more sustainable and productive method of agriculture. And how did he do that and what did he do? He trained all these farmers in farms on lands much like their own to get a first-hand experience of the different techniques of farming. Encourage the farmers to use their knowledge and their experience and add to it the technique that Sanchez was teaching them. And that technique that he had devised was called labranza minima, meaning minimum labor, also meaning minimum tillage, where only a narrow row where the seeds are to be planted is tilled, but the remaining ground is just left intact. Don't do anything, don't remove any plants or herbs there, just leave it intact. By doing this, you can plant your seeds, and the area that is the ground that is left intact will be resistant to soil erosion, and also it will have low weed coverage. Throughout Honduras, one can still find this a kind of technique being practiced along the hillside farm, and the method of slash and burn form of agriculture has diminished.
In November 1998, Hurricane Mitch wrecked much of Honduras, causing landslides and massive loss of soil and farmland. It was the region's worst natural disaster in 200 years. Entire farms on mountain slopes washed downhill, but those with contour terracing often survived with minimal damage. Loma Linda's terraces survived too, but its buildings and training center were destroyed. Sanchez was, however, determined to rebuild.
The physical farm is destroyed, but the human farm lives on, Sanchez had told at that time. Don Elias Sanchez died on March 18, 2000, as the reconstruction of his training center was nearing completion. But his dream lives on even to this day. Sanchez, during his days, had actively sought out men to implement his vision to start model farms across the country. He even inspired some of his students to form a network to carry on his vision of having model farms. And so some of them even started, they developed across the country centers of teaching and learning sustainable agriculture. Don Elias Sanchez inspired thousands of farmers to fight for not just improvement of their farms, but also for the quality of their own lives. And he not just inspired them, he showed them the way using the concept of human farm, showing them how organic farming can be done with a concrete example of a model farm, the Loma Linda. Sanchez's legacy was not his farm, but the practical experience of the love that he showed for the land, the goodness that he brought out from it, and the knowledge and the strength to return and to get up. Accomplish your tasks with excellence, not mediocrity. Share your ideas. Ideas that are not shared have no value, Sanchez used to say. Don Elias Sanchez was a master in teaching the art of farming and sowing in many the hopes, strengths, and harvesting a greater life. Hope you like this story. I will see you in the next video with a story from a country beginning with the letter I.